In a bombshell revelation that has sent shockwaves through the courtroom, actress Jennifer Lawrence was unsealed as a key federal witness in the ongoing trial against Sean Diddy Combs. On day 8 of the proceedings, Lawrence took the stand and delivered chilling testimony detailing her alleged experience at a private Beverly Hills gala in 2012. Initially billed as a charity event for young creatives, she testified that what was marketed as a networking opportunity turned out to be something much darker: a high-security gathering in a mansion with red lighting, masked women, and powerful men. Phones were confiscated, NDAs were handed out, and a heavy atmosphere of secrecy hung over the night. Lawrence described being bait rather than a guest, saying she witnessed girls crying and disappearing behind numbered doors. Her reaction was immediate and visceral. She experienced dissociation and was placed on a brief media hiatus, publicly attributed to exhaustion following the release of The Hunger Games. This trauma marked the beginning of what would become a decade-long entanglement with a system of silence and control embedded deep in the entertainment industry. As her testimony continued, Lawrence revealed the existence of a handwritten letter she penned at the age of 22, titled "To Whoever's Pulling the Strings." Dated 2012 and marked as Exhibit 17A, the letter clearly stated her refusal to be bought, disappear, or become the next Cassie, referring to fellow artist Cassie Ventura, who would file her civil lawsuit against Diddy years later. The courtroom grew silent as Lawrence read aloud from the letter, stating she wanted no contract or car, only to survive an industry that preyed on silence. Lawrence explained that 5 years after the Beverly Hills incident in 2017, she was again contacted, this time through encrypted channels and under the guise of a wellness retreat curated by forward-thinking female talent and hosted by Combs himself. The invite came from a woman named Ariel D., claiming the previous house was gone, the tunnels sealed, and this was now about rebirth. Jennifer, under oath, said these coded references were particularly disturbing because no one, not even her family, knew she had seen a hallway, a second padded room, or the chilling details she had buried for years. She declined the invitation, but days later, a chilling reminder was left in her trailer, an envelope containing her original NDA marked "Reminder" in red ink. The message was clear: "We're still watching." She documented the incident in her journal, Exhibit 17E, writing that if she ever disappeared, it wouldn't be an accident. What followed were increasingly brazen acts of intimidation and veiled threats. Lawrence testified that in 2019, a veteran actress pulled her aside at an Oscars after-party and whispered, "I saw your name on a list. Be careful who's still watching." That vague warning was just the beginning. In 2022, an envelope was left at her home. Inside was a blank flash drive. Though she never plugged it in, she handed it over to her legal team, who confirmed it was empty. Yet weeks later, a photographer who had taken unauthorized photos of Jennifer vanished without a trace. His phone was later found with its screen shattered and battery removed in the Hollywood Hills. Lawrence admitted under oath that she couldn't help but wonder if the flash drive had been a loyalty test, and if someone else had paid the price for her refusal to comply. Though the judge dismissed speculation from the record, the emotional gravity was allowed to remain, reinforcing just how real this threat felt for Lawrence. Things escalated further when a leaked internal memo from a PR firm tied to Combs Global, entered as Exhibit 17H, listed Jennifer by name in a redacted section and labeled her unlikely to escalate due to her brand protection instincts. In other words, the firm expected her to remain silent to protect her image. Lawrence said this broke her, because it meant they had already calculated her silence as part of their strategy. She admitted that, for a time, they were right. She kept quiet, smiled for the cameras, and stayed booked. But she hadn't slept well in 10 years. The prosecutor then shifted questioning toward brand deals. Lawrence testified that in 2013, she was offered a fragrance endorsement deal from a shell company linked to Combs Enterprises. On the surface, it appeared routine, but on page 37, a clause stated she must not disclose or discuss any non-public development sessions involving Combs-affiliated figures. She said she had never seen such a clause before. It wasn't a standard morality clause. It was preemptive censorship. She declined the offer. Later, the same phrase appeared in a contract for a different scripted TV project, confirming to her that this language was being deliberately recycled to suppress potential whistleblowers. Exhibit 18C. detailed 3 redacted contracts signed by other female artists, each containing similar silencing language. Most notably, a clause forfeiting all arbitration rights for emotional conduct, brand damage, and legacy disruption. Lawrence read that phrase aloud to the courtroom, stating, "That's what they're scared of, legacy disruption." She then confirmed that hush money had been offered to her multiple times, not explicitly, but in the form of consulting fees, padded brand deals, and buried clauses. She said she told her team to walk away every time. When asked if she believed she was the only one, Lawrence responded, "No." Some walked in, some never walked out. Her testimony continued with the disclosure of an unsettling encounter at a 2014 after-party on Star Island in Miami. Jennifer recalled a dimly lit room with mirrored walls and 4 leather couches. A stranger approached her and whispered, "You don't belong here, sweetheart." She left before midnight. Days later, during the X-Men Apocalypse press tour, she found a note in a jacket sleeve that read, "That room had 3 cameras. One was above the mirror. Tell your team nothing." That note, entered as Exhibit 18A, was time-stamped by her assistant. The prosecutor asked if she had seen any footage from that night. She replied not from that night, but she had seen a 12-second clip from a rep's laptop that showed the same room layout. The laptop was later wiped, and the rep resigned. She further described how her trailer was broken into shortly after. Not robbed, just reorganized. Jennifer said that's when she realized this wasn't about one night in 2012. It was an infrastructure, a machine. Her fear wasn't of being hurt, but of being erased. The prosecution then revealed that she had attempted to go public in 2021. After Cassie disappeared from media headlines, she began connecting the dots, not just what happened to her, but what could have happened to others like Aubrey, Cassie, and even someone from her own team. The courtroom froze as Lawrence called it what it was, a silence machine. She then testified that an unnamed A-list actress pulled out of the same retreat she was invited to in 2020, texting her, "If you value peace, don't go. There are mirrors there." Lawrence explained that in their circles, mirrors was code for surveillance. Then came a confrontation in 2022 at a fundraising gala where a lawyer, whom she'd previously seen at Diddy branding meetings, smirked and told her, "You should have signed the first time." That night, she told her team she was done being afraid. In a particularly haunting segment, Jennifer shared a story from March 2023 when she was nominated for a Creative Empowerment Award from an organization she'd never heard of, sponsored by the Combs Foundation. She declined, only to discover a press release had already been drafted, quoting her as thanking Diddy for supporting young voices. The statement, introduced as Exhibit 18F, was completely fabricated. She publicly rejected the award and released a brief statement, but no one followed up. 2 weeks later, a package was left at her security desk containing a vial of glitter, latex gloves, and a blacked-out Polaroid with the caption, "You looked better in red lighting." She recognized the reference immediately. It was the room from 2012. She reported the package to LAPD. The case was classified as low-level harassment, but the symbolism wasn't lost on her. When asked if she felt her life was in danger, she said not always, but she felt erased every time she said no. Her closing remarks were sharp. There's a myth in Hollywood that if you just work hard, smile, and play it safe, you'll be protected. That's a lie. Before recess, she added one final line. "Sometimes, when I get a standing ovation, I wonder if one of the people clapping was in that room." She said she testified not for pity or revenge, but because she knew young girls were watching. She wanted them to know she believed them, even if they never said a word. She read a line from her journal aloud. "I got out, but I still carry the door inside me." As court resumed the next day, Jennifer returned, dressed in black, holding a sealed envelope. She confirmed under oath that she had spoken to Cassie once after the lawsuit was filed. They met alone on a studio lot, where Cassie hugged her and said, "Thank you for not asking questions. I couldn't have answered them." Jennifer then confirmed she had seen Cassie before, in rooms with watchers, candles, and lists. She hadn't known what she was witnessing at the time, but Cassie had. Exhibit 18. A legal email chain, revealed that Cassie's lawyers had sought confirmation of a 2012 letter, Jennifer's original letter, months before the lawsuit. She submitted the letter during an unrelated deposition, and it eventually reached federal hands. She read its closing line aloud. If this letter ever reaches you, it means I chose myself over your silence, and you don't own me anymore." And then came the final blow. When asked if anyone had tried to interfere with her testimony, Jennifer didn't hesitate. Yes. 3 weeks before her court appearance, she received a message through a former assistant saying, "We all have things to lose. Don't lose yours over a letter." The court admitted the message into evidence as Exhibit 18J. That night, Jennifer said she slept with the letter under her pillow. She told the court, "They've already written my silence into so many contracts. I had to write my truth somewhere." She was then asked if there was anything else she wanted to say. Jennifer looked directly at the jury and said, "After the lights, the awards, and the cheers, no one asks if we're okay. I've stood on the biggest stages in the world, but nothing erased what I saw in that house." She concluded with this, "I'm not here because I want pity. I'm here because I know girls are watching this trial right now, wondering if anyone will believe them. I believe you." She lifted a final page from the envelope and read the last journal line she wrote after the 2012 event. "I got out, but I still carry the door inside me." With that, she said her final words under oath. "I was never supposed to testify. I was supposed to vanish quietly. That's what they always count on. But not this time, because I'm still here. And now, the door is open." As the courtroom slowly emptied that afternoon, what lingered wasn't just the shock of what had been said, it was the shift that had occurred. Jennifer Lawrence, once known only for blockbuster roles and red carpet moments, had redefined her legacy not with another award, but with truth. For years, questions had swirled around the entertainment elite. Whispers behind closed doors, sudden disappearances, tabloid scandals that faded just as quickly as they appeared. But now, for the first time, one of the industry's most protected figures had shattered the unspoken rule. Don't speak. Not unless it's rehearsed. Not unless it benefits the machine. And certainly never against the hand that made you. Reporters who had covered the Diddy trial for weeks said the energy in the room shifted permanently after her testimony. Jurors didn't just look stunned, they looked haunted. Even members of the gallery who had appeared jaded by days of legal back and forth found themselves unable to speak as Jennifer stepped down. No applause, no cameras, just silence. The kind of silence that holds weight. That demands reflection. Legal analysts are already calling her statement a turning point, not just in this case, but in how Hollywood's veil of protection around powerful figures may finally begin to unravel. Since her appearance, multiple advocacy groups have already issued statements of support. "This testimony is the kind of courage we rarely see in public forums," said Margot Hayes, founder of the Survivors Collective. She didn't just name names, she named the system. And systems can be dismantled. Behind the scenes, sources close to federal investigators have indicated that Jennifer's documents, especially the repeated NDA clauses and Exhibit 18C's breakdown of contract patterns, may lead to further inquiries into entertainment agencies, shell companies, and alleged hush money schemes tied to brand endorsements. And while Jennifer Lawrence has declined all media interviews, insiders say her legal team is preparing to ensure these documents are safeguarded as part of the public record, in case similar patterns emerge in future cases. Her testimony may now serve as a template, not for drama, but for accountability. Because what started as a sealed document in 2012 has now become a rallying cry. A single voice breaking the echo chamber of complicity. As one court observer said as they exited the courthouse, "It's no longer about whether or not people believe her, it's about how many others will now find the strength to speak." That is the legacy Jennifer may not have planned for, but it might be her most powerful role yet. And as this trial continues, one thing is certain: the industry is watching. But now, so are we.